Thank you so much. Said before, I'm the coordinator of the destination topic of BTO Florence, and I'm very honored and proud to be here with such special guests to analyze the innovation from a destination point of view. Today we've been talking a lot about digital innovation, frictionless. And so this roundtable today will explore how the destination field is evolving, and it's been evolving so fast during these recent times. So we are going to explore how tech, innovation, digital, and co-design with local communities are evolving in this particular field. We are talking about better places for everyone. The new European Bauhaus is teaching us how to create better places that are not only tourism destinations, but also cities and territories to live in. So we are talking about frictionless in this edition of BTO, but I like to explore also the concept of borderless. So is there a line today between tourism destinations and cities and places to live in? Maybe not. So we are, during this roundtable, we are exploring and thinking about how technologies, digital and innovation are going to create better places for everyone. The new European Bauhaus is teaching us to create better livable places from a social, environmental and economical point of view, but also during the 26th, so during the day that we are going to focus on the destination topic, we are also talking about a lot of topics that are changing the way destinations are created, promoted, and commercialized. So today we will start with a focus about European politics and about policies, about how the European Commission is looking toward the future of smarter destinations, so how to create smarter destinations for everyone. Then we are going to explore the Intelligent Cities Challenge, so we are shifting from a destination, from a tourism to a smart city focus. We are also talking about the European Capital of Smart Tourism, and then we are ending with the example of the Catalonia Tourism Board, so how Catalonia is applying to a real destination and territory all these innovations. So my first question will be for Ms. Alabarile, which is policy and responsible for tourism for the European Commission. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being our guest. And my first question is about how the European Commission is exploring what are the policies with which the European Commission is looking towards the future. So what are the main objectives, highlights, and what can you tell us about how your institution is looking to plan and also to act this innovation in the smarter destination field?
Thank you so much, and I hope you can all hear me. I wish I was there with you. I know I can't be, but and it's a shame, but hopefully next year. Forgive me if you see that I'm looking in all possible directions. I am trying to look at the camera there for you, but it's not super easy. Also, I would like to share a quick presentation with you, and if this takes me longer than I should speak, Emma, by all means, just cut me off. I have a few messages to pass. It's interesting. Two things were really interesting on what you said. First of all, you called it my institutions, but really, I hope by the end of today, we can kind of start feeling more like it's our institutions, because what the Commission does really is trying as much as possible to be closer to what destinations do, and also, business in the tourism sector. And then you also said, well, you didn't say, but you also called us when we were talking and prepping for this, and you decided to have the Commission on a panel which discusses destinations. And this to me is a great sign that we're doing something right, we're going in the right direction, because normally nobody really knows what the Commission does, particularly on tourism, and it feels very, very far away. But I promise you it's not. We're trying not to be. And with this, I would like to really get into a few of the topics I wanted to discuss today. First of all, back to the fact that we try not to be alienated and working from Brussels on strange policies that nobody ever reads. we're not. What we're trying to do on tourism is first of all, we managed to put tourism back on the public agenda for EU policies, which means that it is a priority. And I've said this several times, particularly to the panelists that are here with me today, they all know this, but then let me repeat it for you once again. For a long time, tourism was not a priority for the Commission, and it wasn't because, it was sorting itself out. Tourism works. We're all tourists. I'm a tourist. You're never really short of customers. But then COVID hit, and that was a big shock for the sector. We all know this. So we're back to a situation where we have to talk about tourism and do something about it. And what can the European Union do? We make no laws. What we can do, and I'll get to that, what we can do is sort of what you see here. We can create policy goals together with the governments and the regions and the stakeholders. We can support networking across destinations, and we can give out funds. So I would like very quickly to touch upon these, each of these points. For the policy goals, that, believe me, can make a difference even if we make no laws and we do not regulate your sector. They can make a difference because we discuss these with you and with the governments in Brussels. So we gather an understanding and commitments and common goals. On this, what we're doing right now, and before Christmas, we will finalize an understanding, a document that will come out publicly, and I put it right here, right here, early next year. A document that will be public, and we'll put together where we want to be in 10 years down the line, and also in 2050. So it's a vision for the future. And this vision, I drafted a little bit of it back in May when it was just a paper, but it's evolved because we have asked all the stakeholders that we could reach to contribute. And honestly, I'm so grateful to Firenze for their commitment to this. You have come back to us, and Tuscany has done our work, a lot of dialoguing with the Commission. So thank you so much. It is really a great forum, Tuscany, to be in when talking about and thinking about tourism. So thanks. We got loads of inputs in. I put a few keywords there on how we proceeded, and it's almost done. We're now discussing it with the government. So if you have any issues, any priorities, anything at all, please bring it up with the governments. And now, wasting a lot of time on this, but because I'm really passionate about how we work, and we work very neatly together with all of our stakeholders. In this document that'll come out, what we focus on is sustainability. It is digital, it is resilience, it is accessibility. It's at least these 4 areas. And on digital, there's a lot to say, but we will focus a lot on data sharing, because it's been mentioned also in the panel before us that data really is the fuel. So when you have enough big data that you can analyze, then it's great. You can do lots of things. You can grow in competitiveness, but then you need to have the skills to do that. You have to have some kind of strategy to know how to do that. Now, not to go too much into details, but I'm happy to take questions and answer them. Right now, we are preparing a code of conduct. Well, the industry is preparing a code of conduct. They're more than happy to have your views on what they're going to put in it. It should be ready by the next summer. Please get involved. How? Shoot me an email, and I'll get you in touch with the associations that are writing this. We will ultimately, our ultimate ambition is to have a data space where you can have access to data, and you can have an access that is fair, and it is not fragmented as it is now, that it is free as much as possible, because some data is sensitive. And there will be, and it's interoperable. So this data space will allow you to be interoperable with the data space of mobility and on culture, on environment, and it's a whole strategy that goes across sectors, and there will be one for tourism. And right now we're trying to find somebody to help us out understanding the governance of it, what it should look like. The call for projects proposals has just come out last week. It's open until the end of February, and we have €1 million available for one contractor or a group of a cluster of contractors that could work together to carry out that study for us. So if you're interested, you think you have the right competence, please apply. This is on, and by the way, this, if you forget what this is all about, just Google it. Google the Digital Euro program, Google call for proposal for tourism. And if you still can't find it, shoot me an email and I'll address you to it. That's fine. Very quickly, there will be, we believe that if you are a destination and you want to be more competitive and you want to be more attractive, obviously you need data and you need big data, but big data is the next step where you can have the resources and the skills and, you know, in the infrastructure to handle it. And if you don't, you know, that's not the end of the world. There are statistics that can help you, but these statistics need to be updated. And this is what the Commission is doing. We are trying to give destinations and member states, sorry, destination and governments and regions. I tend to use member state because it is kind of like our technical language here in Brussels. We're trying to give the decision makers some policy indicators and statistics that you can use. Not easy, because the Eurostat tended to use statistics that were a bit academic and kind of like backward looking. And obviously you don't need numbers from 2019 anymore now. But we're doing better. And Eurostat is now working on this lovely pilot project with the private sector, with Booking, TripAdvisor, I'm almost done. I should really wrap up. Anyway, they are working on this task that you can find, and you will find the new indicators that can help you. And the same will be for the dashboard that will be available on our website early next year, or end of this year, actually. I'll move on very quickly. There's so much to say about destinations and networks and competitions. We have a lot. One thing that I want to say is, and then I conclude. Please apply to this lovely project that's called the Smart Destinations Project, because we will give you the opportunity to be trained and skilled on data management. And it is free. It is a youth-funded project. We really do try, and that's my last message. We really do try to support networking as much as possible. And this is something that we will do in 2022. We have lots of networks. We will try to put them together as much as we can. And this way, we hope that each city that feels they can be a destination can also become one. Lots more to say. I'm here for questions and answers. Thanks for the time.
Thank you so much, Misa. You are right, a lot more to say. There is so much to say about this topic, and we hope to have you as host in the future to explore more details about what you were saying before. I found particularly interesting also the idea of analytics and dashboard, obviously, and also understanding what your planning is about the future, about your policies, because it's so important for us at national, regional, and local level to understand where the EU is going, and what's the plan about the future policies about destinations and tourism. So thank you very much for sharing these insights with us. My next question is for Dolores Ordones. I would like to ask you, considering that we are talking about smarter tourism, smarter destination, and that we are talking about borderless and maybe the absence of our borders between destinations and places where we are living in. So between tourism, tourists, and residents, temporary residents, we are talking a lot about smart working and people that are holiday workers. And so it's a frictionless experience from destinations to cities to territories. And obviously, we need to talk about smarter cities and places to live in. You are the Smart Tourism Track Coordinator for the Intelligent Cities Challenge, and in 136 cities you are leading change, and so you are focusing about innovation to create smarter places. So I would like to ask you some details about this very intelligent project and about highlights that can be useful also for applications or for cities and territories to improve and to become smarter places.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, thank you for the invitation and for being in this incredible place. So the Intelligent Cities Challenge is a program that started last year, 2020, but it comes from a previous program that it was called Digital Cities Challenge. It was an initiative from the European Commission because we were always discussing about the importance of the smart cities. So as you mentioned before, all the methodology that was used in the smart cities, identifying which were the main topics that should be improved to offer better services to the citizens, at the end to improve the quality of life of the citizens. In 2013, 2014, we started to discuss about smart destinations. And we had to discuss the concept of smart destination, and sometimes we have to put it in front of smart cities and smart destinations. At the end, the complexity of the smart destinations is higher, because there we have the convivence of the citizens together with the tourists, the second residents, the tourists that are coming from one day, the ones that are coming from a long period. So at the end, we are offering the same services to the tourists that the ones for the citizens. And we are also developing special services for the tourists that are going to be used also for our citizens. And this implies a lot of needs in terms of digitalization, but also in terms of sustainability. That's why in the Intelligent City Challenge, which is a program that it will run for 3 years, in which 130 cities were selected, and we have also mentor cities in order to inspire other cities, what we are doing is to help the cities in a journey. We consider that the cities are not going to change from one day to another. It doesn't matter of the funds, it doesn't matter of the methodologies, and what it doesn't work is to make copy-paste from one city to another. What is important is to understand which are the real needs of the city, in my case, of the destinations, which are the final objectives, and then to establish a program, a methodology, a strategy in the short, medium, and long term. Which are the steps that should be implemented in this destination to be more sustainable, more efficient, more digital, but at the same time be more competitive in terms of as a tourism destination. This is the pathway that we are developing. For making that, the European Commission is not offering money to the cities. What they are doing is to put experts, and here we have one of the experts on tourism. So what we are doing is to put a lead expert for each city, and then specific experts in each of the subjects that are needed for the city. So for example, a city needs an expert that is specialized in smart mobility or energy efficiency. And we have a group of experts all over Europe, and these are the experts that are helping, assessing, and making recommendation, advising to all the cities. And we understand this as a process in which we put some milestones that the cities have to fulfill. And this is the challenge. So we put some common challenges that all the cities have to fulfill to be more sustainable, more digital, at the same time to offer better services to the tourists and to the citizens.
Thank you, Dolores. And another question that I have for you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being our guest and for sharing with us this very interesting path that can be for sure inspiring for the cities that applied, but also for other cities. And you were talking about expertise areas and about experts. I wanted to ask you what were the main innovations that you found during this path, if there were any particular cities or topics that were particularly innovative for you during this project.
Well, we are seeing that there are a lot of differences, and this is also very nice because it represents the diversity that exists in Europe. So we have seen that a lot of cities are not very keen on having a lot of tourism, but how to use the digital technologies to keep their traditions. And so we are helping them to use the technology to keep their own characteristics, their own identity, because they are sometimes afraid that tourism will mean this loss of identity. We have other cities that are more advanced, and they want perhaps they are more worried about sustainable mobility, smart mobility. How can we introduce new forms of mobility in the destination? But what is important for all the cities, and next week we start the 4-city lab, because each 4-5 months we have a city lab with all the cities together, it's data. So the cities are very interested, and the destinations are very interested in knowing what's happening really, in measuring. So the open data portal, and we have some examples in some cities, they are showing how have they created the data portal, the open data portal, how they are creating the trust on the citizenships, but also in the companies to share this data. And this is one of the most important innovations now that is being implemented at the level of the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think that it's very interesting what you said about the connection between digital and traditions. So not always innovation has to be connected just with digital and technology, but it could also be a value proposition. It could also be the improvement of the local offer and the connection and the co-design with the local community, which we will be talking about. And and I also found very interesting when you said that you had milestones, so that you give milestones and you have objectives and goals to reach. This is very interesting, and it's what connects me to the other to our other guest, Eduardo Colombo, regarding the European Capital of Smart Tourism path, which is another challenge, another project that that has the objective, the goal, the aim to improve tourism towards a more smarter way to consider this field. And for this reason, I would like to ask you what were the main highlights and characteristics of this project and how it's helping cities and European destinations to become smarter and better places to live and to be visited.
Yes, the evaluation was based on 4 topics. It was accessibility, sustainability, digitalization, and cultural heritage. And I was in charge of digitalization, also with Professor Buchalis that we saw before. And it was very hard because digitalization is horizontally placed on accessibility and sustainability. I think that technology is the way to reach a real accessibility. And every time in the city, in the project that they presented, there was a kind of description of the digitalization which was related to the accessibility and sustainability. So this was quite difficult to understand the real way. And they created they elected 7 a short list of 7 cities, and they elected at the end Bordeaux and Valencia. There was also Florence and Venice in the short list. I hope next year. In Italy never won this challenge in the last 3 years. And Bordeaux, it's amazing because it's really interesting for us. You know, Bordeaux, it's synonymous of enogastronomy and enotourism. And they was very able to describe the involvement of the community in this project. And this is very interesting as a best practice. And Valencia was the payoff was art for. Okay, I'll be back. Smart at heart. Sorry, and this was the same. Very, very focused on accessibility, and this I think is very interesting. To get the aim of the capital is to show some best practice, and this is important for every nation and for every city to copy the best of this project. I think this is very important also because as you said before, the smart destination means interoperability, which is different from the smart city. Sometimes the technology applied to a city created a kind of something that if I'm coming from Rome in Florence, I'm not recognized. And the smart destination thinks about something moving from different cities. So this created a framework of interoperability, which I think is very important for us, even because we are investing a lot of money from the PNRR to the Innovation Hub and to the, I don't know the term, Borghi, I think is not untranslatable. Borghi is a little village in Italy. We're putting 1 billion on Borghi, but there is no rules about interoperability and the technology framework. I think this is very important.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for being here. And regarding Borghi villages, and also you were saying that we, in Italy, we never won, or our applications. I wanted to ask you about our applications and the Italian ones, if you had any particular highlights about our cities and innovations during this European Capital of Smart Tourism challenge.
There are a lot of, I think that about accessibility, I think they're most interesting because you really help people to access, even if they don't have physical access, and even if maybe using virtual reality or using technology for blind people, or to help to have the same experience as the other, as not I don't know, not disabled.
Thank you so much. And I found particularly interesting what you said about the liaison, the connection with the community. So innovation can't be disconnected with the community needs, with what the local residents and the community is asking for and is considering a value to regarding a place. And for this reason, I like to connect the discussion to our last topic about a real application about what a smart destination is. So about a destination which is at the forefront of innovation, which is improving, co-designing, considering residents in the planning of strategies, and also about very interesting innovations regarding the Catalonia region and also the Barcelona city. So we have Patrick Torrent here. Thank you for being here, the director of the local agency of the Catalan Tourism Board. And we are very interested about understanding how everything that we were discussing about today, about smarter cities and smarter destination, is really applied to a territory. So in particular, when I studied obviously for this roundtable, I found very interesting the the Catalan national deal on responsible tourism, obviously, and also how Barcelona is talking about better places to live in. And so for this reason, I leave the floor to Patrick and ask what's happening really in your destination, and so why the Catalan Tourism Board is considering an innovation in our smart destination field.
Thank you for inviting us, and thank you for letting the opportunity to share with you our vision. In Catalonia, in Barcelona in particular, there are happening a lot of things because during this pandemic, the option to think about and to have deep reflections about the model of tourism we want has been present in all the different agents involved in the tourism phenomenon. And in particular, now we are creating this particular global deal for a responsible tourism, a global commitment for tourism. Why? Because we think that we need a new social deal. It's impossible to create, as in the past, new strategies, new marketing plans, new communication lines, if we don't have the certainty that the people, that the residents are agreeing with these policies, with these strategies. It's for the reason that it's for us so important. Then now are we asking for this global commitment for sustainable and responsible tourism in our society, in order to not just to put in the same table the industry and the local suppliers. For us, it's important to put in the same table other agents. For example, the cultural and natural heritage managers. For example, the other industries that are indirectly related with tourism. For example, the academia, the universities, and for example, and this is the most important, the residents. I think every agent must be involved in this agreement, in this commitment, because if not, it will be impossible to create new strategies, new plans, and new marketing plans. It's one of the first steps we need in order to create everything is to put in the same table these different agents and to create this first agreement with this social deal in order to put, to create the basement of this new building we want, that is a more responsible, more sustainable and competitive tourism model. In Catalonia in particular, we are now in the process to create new meetings in these different social areas and following the path that was identified by the Barcelona Declaration, Better Places to Live, Better Places to Visit, created by Nextur in 2018, and that is our guidelines. Guidelines that are based in 5 principles. The first principle smart and inclusive governance is what I'm saying. In the past, we used to have agreements with public and private sector. Well, now this PPP, these public and public partnerships, must become PPCP, public-private citizen partnerships, creating this new area and putting in the middle of this new area the residents as well. What is good for residents is good for visitors, is the principle of this smart and inclusive governance. Principle 2, adding value to the sense of place. Residents are part of the cultural tourism experience and the best ambassadors for their territories. Principle 3, using a holistic vision for marketing and preservation, promoting hidden treasures, hidden heritage, while being prudent in promoting overexposed ones. Principle 4, balancing people, business, and place. Better measure to better manage. Our president, Mr. Cardenete, said before the importance about data, about the culture of data in order to create new destinations, in order to manage better our tourism model. And fifth one, connecting people to people. Citizens and visitors searching for a new and transformative experiences.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much also for sharing with us in this short time all this value. What you're doing in your destination is so interesting because you're putting together in these 5 principles you said, you were talking about from Catalonia obviously to Barcelona, about innovation, co-design, community sustainability, and so many things that are also what we are going to present on the 26th, which is the day that will be dedicated to the destination topic. So we have, our time is obviously left, and it was very interesting to discuss about these topics with you. And actually these 5 principles are somehow opening the closing of this panel, because you touched kind of many topics that we are going to discuss on the 26th. So we will be talking about, with many national and international guests, about city quitting and simple life. So what the traveler is going to asking today, and even after this very difficult period, this pandemic period, about sustainability. So what destinations are and operators are going to improve for the visitor experience. We are going to talk about creativity and digitalization of the cultural field. Today we had a very special guest from Japan, Team Lab. And so we are going to discuss a lot on the 26th. I invite you to follow us during this BTO week and also to the Destination Day. And again, thank you very much for being here, and thank you to our guests. Thank you.